Well, happy Friday, everyone. Pastor Ben here. So glad you've made it to Friday, but even better news, Sunday's coming. And so I'm excited to share again with you coming into this weekend about the things happening as we prepare for our time together. I'm here at home this afternoon as I'm recording this message, and it was kind of a chilly day. And so I got home and nice warm hot cup of coffee, actually. Not warm, hot. I like it hot. And it just kind of hit the spot today. So I'm getting down here, getting ready to record this video, and dogs are hanging out, and I've got my lab here, and he loves chewing on this rubber toy. And so if you're hearing that in the background, you'll know why. Let me give you a shot of Vaughn today. Hey, Vaughn. Say hi. You're a little busy. All right. Oh, there you are. Hi, Vaughn. Well, Vaughn's happy it's Friday too. Just want to share with you a couple of things going into this Sunday and bring you along on where I plan to be. We're continuing our series in Acts as we have been. And this week we are moving into chapter 6. Chapter 6 kind of picks up in an interesting spot. We've kind of followed along as the disciples have ministered faithfully to what Jesus has instructed them to do. They have stood up against opposition. Satan has been at work, but we read time and again that the Lord added to their number daily those who were being saved. They were mission focused on what God had asked them to do. And then we move into chapter 6. And so for this Sunday, we're going to be in chapter 6, verses 1 through 7. And this is a section in your Bibles where it talks about some internal opposition. And so we have two groups of Jews that have now become one, and it's creating some internal conflict. And so this Sunday we're going to be talking about that internal conflict, why it was such a conflict, and the things that were at play, and going into some of those details. Some things that have stood out in my mind as I prepared and am praying for our time together is sometimes there are times, situations, things in our life that happen that really start to kind of bog us down. And I was thinking about that, as I was driving to Yuma the other day. I had to run some errands, and this Jeep that I drive, as I'm driving there's a couple of areas or a couple of parts of the highway that have some hills. And so as I'm going through there and you're trying to maintain speed, the transmission just automatically downshifts, grabs another gear, and I'm able to kind of carry that momentum or build my speed back up. But I got to thinking about that, and I used to own vehicles that had a standard transmission. And so as you have to climb a hill or you're up against a lot of resistance, sometimes you had to kind of downshift. You had to, push in the clutch, change gears, and continue on. And with cars that we have now, most of them are automatics, and we don't even think about sometimes when our car downshifts as we were trying to maintain momentum. I was thinking about that because as we encounter problems and issues, sometimes there are things in our life that begin to kind of bog us down, and if we're not paying attention, we're losing speed, we're losing traction, we're losing momentum. And sometimes we just need to kind of pause and even downshift to kind of pick up momentum again, to kind of regroup and realize what's happening in the moment that's causing us to lose speed and momentum. And if we're not paying attention, then we're just going to get slower and slower, and pretty soon we've kind of lost the direction that we were trying to go. I think about that in the light of what's happening here in chapter 6 and verses 1 through 7. There's some internal opposition. There's some things taking place that are that if the disciples weren't careful, were going to totally rob any good things that were happening, that were going to rob momentum, that were going to cause them to shift focus on what God had called them to do. And so that was one of those things that really stood out to me in preparation for this Sunday, is that we all encounter and engage problems and difficulties, and we need to be aware of those things. The disciples were keenly focused on what God had asked them to do, on the direction that Jesus had given them to go and baptize, just be missional focused. And it's easy for us sometimes to kind of lose sight of what we're on mission to go and do and accomplish. That plays true in our lives as we go through the day-to-day things. There's pressures, there's conflicts, there's oppositions, there's things that distract us. And I believe at the heart of who we are and desiring to follow Jesus, we want to go and fulfill and accomplish what He's set out for us to go and do. But if we're not careful, if we're not missionally minded, if we're not gospel focused, then it's going to be easy to be distracted, to lose momentum, and forget what we are supposed to be going and doing. So those are the things that are on my mind as one of the things. There's actually quite a bit that's happening in this passage, and it's hard to, in these couple of moments that I try to spend with you on a Friday, to let you know what I'm thinking about and the direction we're going, to give away everything. So I don't want to do that. There's a lot there that I want to unpack with you, and I'm excited to do so. So again, this Sunday, I'm excited for us to gather. Our Spanish service again begins at 9 a.m. Sunday school. If you have not come and attended a Sunday school class, it's been a while, you've been thinking about it, I'd encourage you to come and participate this Sunday. We have classes for all ages, and it's a time and an opportunity for you to grow in your faith, in your knowledge of God, and be around other believers that are on the same journey as you are. So Sunday school begins at 9:30. There's a class for you. And then our English service begins at 10:45. I'm praying for you. I'm excited for our time together. And yeah, it's Friday and it's a great thing, but Sunday's coming and it's going to be a great time together. So God bless you, and we will see you Sunday.